Hello everybody, welcome back to the Novelist. This is Fixer, and we're catching up. When Tommy continued to struggle, fantastic, more Tommy struggles. Alright, let's get down and dirty. Mr. and Mrs. Kaplan, I want to stress that it's perfectly normal for some children to fall behind in a specific area. Tommy may be struggling with reading comprehension, but his verbal and visual abilities are excellent. That said, he won't catch up on his own. He'll need support from both of you. I recommend that you do the attached exercises with Tommy every weekday morning for 1 or 2 hours. Oh boy. He'll be unable to focus exclusively on these for 2 straight hours, so you'll need to take intermittent breaks. But use your judgment and stay with it as long as you feel he can stay engaged. I suggest that you do your sessions in the morning before he tires himself out and becomes distracted. I feel confident that with a supportive environment and dedicated exercise, he will catch up on the other children in his class. Please be in touch if you have any questions.
I don't know.
And there's his little drawing. What's over here?
Barb, sorry it's been so long since I've written. Things have been hectic around here, and I'm trying to figure out a way to get things back on track. I don't really want to get into it, but we're getting pulled in a lot of different directions right now. Nothing hurtful, just competing priorities, I guess. Although those can get worse and worse over time. I mean, Dan and I, before we got up here, we'd started to drift. Look at that. I said I didn't want to get into it, and I did anyway. Enough about me. Please tell me you're doing well, and I hope this doesn't stress you out too much. I promise to write a happier letter soon. Yours always, Linda.
Boy. Alright, let's see what's going on with Linda.
We barely talked yesterday.
Wow, you're right. I guess we've just been so busy.
I'm sure Mom and Dad would have liked to have been the only visitors in the house, but they understood the bad timing and were glad to see us at all. With so much going on, I didn't get a chance to talk to her about things with Dad. I need to try and call or write when they get back home. I hope they're okay.
They're okay. No need to worry about them. They're adults. They can take care of themselves. Nothing. Something. Ideas. Weekly outing where? Tuesday movie night. Check channel guide or maybe go into town. Family dinner, 2 old-fashioned, picnic, farmer's market. Oh no. Basically all ideas that will prevent Dan from writing. Fantastic. Well, at least Dan doesn't have all those crazy squiggly lines around his face. God. Okay.
Will it make me smarter?
Honey, listen to me. You are smart.
Aw. Alright, let's exit out. Dan, you're next. He's like, oh, why can't my kid be smart?
And as for last weekend, I can't stop wondering what kind of advice Tynan would have had for Act 2. It's still a mess. I tried to work on it, but it was impossible to get anything done with so much going on. Although I guess I did flex a little creativity. I came up with an impressive number of errands to run just to get out of the house.
Boy. That's not good.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. I shouldn't have snapped. I just...
Ooh, he snapped at her.
Good day so far?
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Is there anything in the book?
Dan and I had a good conversation today. Well, we'll have to wait and see if it was actually good, but I feel like I got my point across about family time. We've been getting a little frayed on the little things lately, and it reminded me of something Anne said one time. Love is a behavior, not an emotion. If something's important to you, you show it with your actions. We weren't doing so well with that before we got here. I told Dan my idea. I want us all to eat together at 7 every night, with family time after that. Tommy's wiped out by 8:30, so we'd get a solid hour and a half as a family, and then Dan and I could have the rest of the night to ourselves. And I think 7's a reasonable request. The rest of the working world knocks off at 5, right? It doesn't really matter what we do with the time, just that we spend it together. It's easy to make excuses when you've got a lot going on, which is why patterns help. I hope he feels...
Alright, so here's my problem. She says 7's a reasonable request, the rest of the working world knocks off at 5, right? And I think that with her profession as a painter, that she should understand and empathize with Dan, being that he's a writer and his job is also creatively driven. In that perhaps you're not creativity isn't really a 9 to 5 type of thing. You know, it's not like you punch in and you do data entry until you punch out, you know. It's creatively driven, and people have that drive at different times. At least those types of people do, I think. And her being a painter, I would assume she's probably not too dissimilar from Dan in that regard. And that should make her more empathetic to what he's doing, instead of requesting a 7 p.m. dinner because the rest of the world knocks off at 5. She paints at night. Why is she painting at night? The rest of the world knocks off at 5. I think there's a disconnect there. But that's just me. Oh, I already
Honey,
did this.
listen to me.
Oh boy. What the hell's that? It looks like a bunny. Why are you scribbling out the bunny? What's this? Oh shit. God damn it. He's getting bullied again. Well, obviously I can't parent him. I should just buy him some brass knuckles or something.
Alan, this letter might come from out of the blue, but do you remember when you told me about Bobby falling behind on reading? Looks like we're there with Tommy. We knew he was struggling when we came up here, but his teacher gave us a list of books for him to work on over the break and said we should see how he responded to the change in environment. She gave us a few sample readings and told us to keep an eye on how he was grasping the concepts. Tommy still isn't there, and long story short, the pediatrician in town knows a specialist who gave us some exercises to try. They seem pretty straightforward, but I wanted to write and see if you had any tips that helped you guys with Bobby. Damn, just realized I didn't even ask how you've been. I'm sorry. This stuff is just a lot to think about. Dan.
Project Schedule, aka the single unattached writer's guide. Tended to write, eat and sleep away, write, eat, decompress and edit, and life wrenches. Tommy till 11, knock off at 7. Ouch.
Here we go.
Alright, I have a feeling that I can't make any correct decisions. Like, they're all bad decisions. Lonnie learns letters. Reading comprehension exercises, okay. 4 to 6. Ages 4 to 6. Okay, I guess that's their way of implying that Tommy is just a little bit behind on that kind of thing.
Time. Guess it'd all be easier if I didn't ever have to sleep. Last night after Linda went to bed, I spent some time, there's that word again, trying to make everything fit. I even drew up a little chart. The math is simple. It doesn't work. Technically, I could still get in 8 hours, assuming I don't eat or need to do anything that's not writing. But what about letters, reading, dealing with Paul? Hell, what about doing the dishes or taking out the trash? Not to mention that knocking off for the day isn't like flipping off a switch. It takes time to crawl out of my head and start functioning like a normal person again. And I can't just split it up into smaller chunks. Sometimes it takes an hour of false starts just to get going on anything usable, and stopping just sends the whole process right back to square one. Something's got to give.
Alright, I'm ready for the final clues. This is a real tough one because I feel like all three of them sound Like,
Is that...
family should have dinner at the table every night. Don't disturb me if the door to my office is closed. Holy shit, that's harsh. Man said to do the Lonnie book every morning. Oh, I don't know what to do, guys. Don't disturb me if the door to my office is closed. That sounds like it would be bad. When... Oh, boy. I don't know what to do. Okay. I'm going to... I'm choosing Tommy. Because if he is... I don't even know how old he is, but he's not 4 to 6. If his reading comprehension is that bad, if he's doing that bad, we got to do something about it. Alright, so we're setting him as the primary decision. And I think I'll choose Linda for the secondary. And I think I have one more chapter. I'll choose Dan for the final chapter. No, I don't want to select the table. I want to... Why would they put the book on the table when the table is the object to select? That's dangerous. I almost selected the table. Diary of K. Williams. I have decided, and I am sure of my decision. I do not know which is right or wrong, only that my choice is my own. It took 3 days. 3 days alone, letting whatever calming influence is here, for I am sure there is something, guide my thoughts. I thought about Jay, and I talked with Jay in my mind, and I know that this is right. I cannot think about the path not taken, only the one ahead. Oh boy. Where's her last thing? Is it in the bathroom? There's gotta be one more document, right? I feel like I'm missing it. I do, I feel like I'm missing it. But then again, there were 3 documents one time, wasn't there? Maybe that's it. Maybe that's just supposed to be the cliffhanger. Okay. We're doing the table and Dan's... excuse me, Dan's gonna get screwed. And I know that's probably gonna be bad. Dan didn't want Tommy to start another school year behind, so he committed to helping the little man for 2 hours every morning. Having both his parents there helped Tommy's confidence as much as his reading, and their morning practices became an event they all looked forward to. Dan couldn't find time to knock off completely at 7 every night, but he agreed to have dinner at the table each night before heading back to work. Lennon and Tommy missed him after dinner, with the sound of his typewriter the only sign he was even in the house. But they were glad for the time they did get at the table. And now his book sucks. Dan couldn't figure out a way to please everyone and still make room for the time for the focus he needed to write. He was able to compromise and fit one unbroken session each day, but for the rest of the day he worked around his family commitments and tried to make the most of the shorter sessions. The lack of focus came through in his work. Shit. Okay, well thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next chapter.